Hello and welcome to The Crazy Train, the comedy podcast with no rails. As always, I am Rob Wade and I'm joined by my host for this evening, Blake Harmer.
Fuck, I'm the host.
And Omer Ibrahim.
I'm eating rocks.
Nice. That's a good time.
When did it
Oh, can we all be the host?
We can all be the host? Yeah, we're all hosts.
Okay, cool.
We're the host with the most hosts.
Yeah.
Rob, go fuck with my show.
Host. Last but not host.
Ironically, Wade.
Can I be the host with the most? No, wait, that worked better in my head.
The host with the mess.
Omer with the most.
Be the homo with the... Wait, no.
Only Omer with the mess.
Hello and welcome to The Crazy Train, the comedy podcast with no rails. Case in point, what just happened?
There were rails, we went back.
Yeah.
It was one of them. Sometimes I feel it's less of a train.
Yeah.
You know, there's little carts you see in cartoons that they push. Like two people have to go up and down like a seesaw. That's how I sometimes feel this is.
Yeah, I can see
Except
that.
there's only one side and it just... forward a little bit.
Just slowly, just kind of...
Just slowly digging into the ground.
Yeah, there's no rails.
That's an appropriate metaphor.
That's just sliding into the dirt.
So this is episode 51. You'll have no doubt heard that we have some new theme music, which was lovingly provided for us by a guy called Dion Van Heerden, who's you may have heard of if you've heard of video games in general.
You heard of what now?
Some of them fancy-ass Spectrums.
Computing shooters.
I got me an Atari.
Incidentally, to answer your question, I'm almost certainly on a Spectrum. Well, it's a Spectrum, we all are.
That's how Spectrums
So
work.
Dion Van Heerden, for those who aren't familiar, is the guy behind the indie game soundtrack for Broforce. So if you're familiar with Broforce, then you know who he is, and no doubt you'll have heard his kind of his flavour inside
his
the song.
signature.
And look forward to, in the not too distant future, his music making its way to loads of different E14 stuff.
You've played me some previews, not to give away too much, and it's just
it's great,
badass.
right? It's just perfect.
Everything is just perfect.
Basically, he literally. I gave him a few notes because the worst thing is when you're working on something, a project of some sort, and the person you're doing it for just says, "Just do whatever you want." Or just just do a thing, just do
Maybe
a thing.
something good.
Make it great. Yeah.
Don't suck.
It's not quite like when somebody's going to the shop and like, do you want a drink? Yeah, what do you want? I just ain't nice and wet.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's not. You can't do that with a project. It doesn't work.
So when somebody says like, "Do you want to drink whatever's cold?" That sort of thing. It's like whatever's going. That's easy
fine
enough
for a
because
bottle of 7-Up.
You're accepting that anything you give them is acceptable as it is liquid and probably tasty.
Yeah.
When it's a project of creative vision, you do need a bit of direction.
So I come back with fart noises. That would actually probably be appropriate. Fart noises in a squeaky little cart with a handrail on it.
So I gave him some notes of the kind of thing I wanted, and he sent me the first drafts of a couple, and instantly my reaction to send was instantly back. You fucking nailed it.
Oh, it's great.
Immediately.
Yeah,
like he
like
didn't
that,
even need, he didn't even need a second go. He just he gave me the first thing, and I was like, that is exactly what was in my head.
Some artists can just click like that and get it. My tattooist was like that. I was always like, I kind of want these words in a kind of font that looks like this, and he was like, he literally just sketched it and went, how about that? And I was like, that's the one.
That's the one.
Just put that on. He was like, no, I've got to tweak it. I was like, no, don't tweak it. That's what I want.
Exactly.
I love it when you get an artist like
so
that.
he just slapped the paper on your arm and sent you on your way.
Yeah.
400
God,
quid,
I got ripped off.
It's no way to run a business.
Oh, you want me to put it on your arm with ink? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is episode 51. Like I say, there's new theme music. You'll have seen new artwork if you're following the sort of iTunes, Twitter, YouTube, whatever. Stitcher, hashtag who gives a
If
shit.
you're looking at a thing, it's probably this thing.
Yeah, it's this thing, no doubt. And also, we have an iTunes review to read, which we don't always have. We've had a couple, but we've actually got an iTunes review.
I thought we had one.
We did, a few episodes ago, but we've had another one.
I don't think I've ever been on a show with an iTunes.
No,
I might go and
true.
put one in now.
This is true.
Sucking my dick.
That would be nice. I welcome anybody who wants to do the old iTunes review thing. Feel free to pop on iTunes or Stitcher, because you can also review there and it will come through. And you just find The Crazy Train. You can search Emotionally 14 and it will come up. Leave us a review. Ideally 5 stars, but I'm not going to force it on you because that sort of defeats the point.
Popping on a Stitcher sounds like some kind of drug metaphor.
Yeah, or like...
what's wrong with Steve? He's just popped on a Stitcher.
Oh dear, he'd be gone for days.
He'll be out for hours. He's popped his last Stitcher, that man.
Yeah. How do you feel about popping a Stitcher? Well, deadly Omer, right? Stick a spoon up your ass. You're all right, I guess. 3 stars.
Isn't there an episode of Winnie the Pooh where he pops a Stitcher, bends over in the mirror and all his fluff comes out?
Oh, bother.
Stick the spoon up his ass.
Oh, bother.
Does he do it by sticking the spoon up his ass? Is that what happens?
Sticky honey spoon.
Deleted scene.
from a book.
Very deleted. Deleted scene from a book.
Deleted scene.
That's called a crayon.
Yeah.
Missing chapter, you mean?
Yeah, missing chapter and missing from the Disney.
Yeah. So the review is from the Minutia Men podcast. So if you haven't heard them, they're a cracking listen. They're very entertaining. They do that kind of... They got like a very radio feel, very kind of inviting, and you kind of feel like you're just at, much like we are now,
talking to mates.
You can just sort of hear mates chatting, and you're just kind of in the room.
Don't let you talk because that's how radio works.
You're in the room. Just not
exactly like me being in a room with anybody.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're trying to.
Yeah.
I can just.
He's back, baby.
Flashback.
We've missed you in a way.
Yeah. So, but their subject is really cool because they just look up really weird trivia and then present it to each other.
Awesome.
So, like the episode I listened to, he was one of the guys, one of the hosts was for the other one was reading out the most searched porn typos by state. Typos.
Amazing.
Threesome. Things like that. Milk. Yeah, exactly. So they were kind enough to give us a 5-star review. Beautiful. As I encourage everybody to do.
Did they give us a 5-star review, or did they mean to look up Das Krasatran? And we ended up on a porn website. Please let that be a really good porn missearch. Somebody just types into Google for porch.
Yeah, I really wanted to look at some good porches, and I got
there was one porn on Pornhub. So they said Pornhub for porn. The whole page kind of directs you.
Isn't that like dividing by zero?
Yeah. You went to if you went to Pornhub and you search porn, like, what was wrong with the stuff on the front page? If you're not that choosy,
do you know what that scarily is? That's an old man or woman not knowing how to use the internet. Just where porn, please.
Where porn, please.
Google, please show me some tatars. I'd like to see a nice, sexy 18-year-old porch.
The porn you are showing me is not porny enough. Can I have some more porn?
Not sufficiently.
Preferably,
porn.
can I have?
That's too porny.
Preferably, can I have porn on a porch, and then I'll be happy.
Porch porn.
Porch porn.
Porch porn. Did we just come up with an episode title?
Yeah.
Episode 51, porch porn.
So they write, the episodes are all very different. You never know what the guys will talk about next. Politics, sports, gaming, etc. Very well done. Highly recommended.
Awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I like that.
So thank you guys for that. And obviously, like I say, if you want to leave us a similar review, if you've got a podcast that you want to get read out on the air, then feel free to leave us a review, and I will obviously read it on the show and give you guys a shout out, especially, but not limited to, if I've actually heard the show and like it. It helps a lot,
Can I plug a podcast I don't have?
If you want.
It's the Omer Cast.
The Omer Cast?
It's where I throw myself out of a window. Casting myself.
Oh, I see.
Or it's just me going, it's just me going for certain movie roles that I know I'll never get.
Okay.
The Omer Cast.
I think I'm perfect for the role of Wonder Woman.
Look at my big tits and long hair. Bom, bom, bom.
Wonder Woman.
Everybody. I know everybody's waiting for me.
It's good to be back.
It is nice to be back.
It is
the only thing is we are boiling alive because my flat is
It's
very
so
hot.
warm.
Yeah.
I am sorry.
It's not as hot as it was yesterday. Yesterday was
the weekend
immeasurable.
was awful, right?
I was out in a farm over the weekend. Just shelter was. It was like, we'll go into that plastic topped barn for shelter.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's really warm in here. The sheep are all melting. What a surprise!
It's black plastic, even better. Nice and absorbent. We went out on Sunday, and actually this is kind of, I've got a bit of like a little complaint, a little whinge. So I do try and keep it positive, but we always have a laugh with the whinges anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. So we went to my mum's on Sunday. That's not what I'm whinging about. I had a lovely time.
Yep.
Just to be clear.
I went to my mum. Fucking hell! I said, look at the state of you. Did you even get dressed this morning?
You'd make the effort.
Oh, you've got lipstick on your teeth and everything, mum.
Make the effort, love. Do me, then. So, no, that's not what happened. In case that wasn't obvious. But we went round there and we were having a barbecue, which obviously nice weather. The particular bit where the barbecue is about sort of 2/3 of the size of the kitchen over there.
Okay,
so I'm pointing. So for the listeners' benefits, I'm pointing to the kitchen for size benefit for Omer and Blake. You guys just have to picture.
For those of you watching in black and white, the red ball is next to the blue.
For those of you watching the podcast, imagine the kitchen and then 2/3 it done.
So the 2/3 of this, I would say half of a ping pong table.
That works. Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah, maybe a little bit sort of. Anyway, yeah.
Half of a really big ping pong table. Half of a ping pong table that's roughly half the size of this kitchen.
Olympic-sized ping pong table.
Surely a really big ping pong table would be a tennis court.
I tell you what, right? If we just give out Rob's address so that people can come and have a look at your kitchen.
That works, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's 123
Noob Street.
Nuke Street.
Noob Street.
Noob Street.
Yeah.
Dot.
N0.
No, wait, you don't put .coms on real addresses, do you? That's not how they work.
I'm a big enough internet property now that I can get away with it. So that's robwade.com.
Just Google Rob Wade and you might get either porn or an address.
Or a porch.
If you type in www.robwadesporch.com and you'll just get some classy porn.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, and a kitchen.
Yeah, we're not allowed to have a porch because we're on the second floor, so they're
That's a
frowned on
bit
that.
dangerous.
I think the planning permission was shot down pretty early on.
Yeah. And you'll get a kitchen that's half the size of a tennis court.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want half a tennis
so we
court in your kitchen. All the sportsmen turn up and start playing ping pong.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the noises they make, it's almost like
they
porn.
just keep hitting my eggs with little paddles.
Yeah.
What was that?
That's my
that
tennis
sounds like
porn
somebody
noise.
playing, like,
Table tennis. What table tennis do you watch?
No, he's been playing. No, he's been watching Olympic whack-a-mole.
The Olympic whacking something. Power wanking is Olympic sport.
Braun,
Power your mole.
not finished with you yet.
I'm not finished yet. Braun porn.
Braun porn.
God.
I'd watch the shit out of Braun. Braun Strowman, the WWE wrestler. But I would watch Braun Strowman just fuck through things.
I think
he'd take a nice young girl home to his bedroom.
I'm pretty sure some of our listeners are wrestling fans. So
Yeah. I'm here, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Braun Strowman. I just want to see his sex tape of him taking a nice young girl and fucking her through the wall. I'm not finished with you yet.
Just going back, walking through this girl-shaped hole in the wall, just smashing the wall through. I'm not finished with you yet.
Hires out a whole motel and fucks her through every room. Dum dum dum. Braun porn.
So, where was I? Crazy, yeah.
In a motel with Braun Strowman.
Oh, yeah. So let me go back a bit. So the barbecue.
There's a line.
We're back, bitches. So the barbecue bit is all white paint and white plastic and stuff. So it's just like a heat trap. So it's boiling hot in the barbecue bit. And unfortunately for my stepdad,
barbecues normally are.
Unfortunately for my stepdad, that's where he was all day because obviously he's barbecue man. So like, not it's a shit superhero. It's the weirdest superhero ever. But
I can burn things on the outside and keep them raw in the middle.
Yeah. On the subject, while I was there, he said, "Oh, I've got spicy burgers." I was like, "Oh, that sounds good." You know, usually they're pretty mild. Oh
no.
I bit
you
into
ate one
it.
and somewhere I shat myself.
I bit into it and I was just like, "Oh no!" No, I've
watched you eat some of that ridiculous chili sauce in a like a farmer's market at that time.
Oh, God,
when you were saying it was burning inside your ears, it was so hot.
It burned my jawline.
Yeah, I know that. Like, I know you like hot food. I'm obviously opposite. I hate. No, I actually quite like the flavour, but it does my body no good.
Yeah, you're not built to
I watched you eat it and actually watched you turn a different shade.
Yeah.
And you were massaging like below that pressure point.
Sort of,
the pressure point just below your earlobe.
My chakra.
Yeah, you were massaging that because I could see it burning.
Yeah.
I could see the agony. Mm-hmm. So yeah, for you to say something's hot takes a bit.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're going through the. We have our barbecue and we have our conversations and catch up with family and stuff, which is always nice. Throughout the week before that, the car has been not starting first time, so it's been starting second time.
Okay.
Which is a pain, but
you
manageable.
get there, right?
So we leave the barbecue and we sort of say our goodbyes and we go to the car and we start turn the engine over. Nothing's happening. So try it second time. No, nothing's happening.
Just nothing at all.
Nothing. It's just like no.
Oh, okay. It's trying to tick.
Yeah, trying to tick, but not. It's sort of turning over, but nothing's igniting. So right, okay, we're gonna have to. We try it for about 15 minutes at this point, and we're like, right, okay, we're gonna have to find the AA and get us out. Other breakdown services are available, although I wouldn't recommend fucking any of them after this.
And not all of them will help you with your alcohol problem.
Also true, yeah. RSE could not give a fuck about it unless you're at the wheel. In which case, I think they've got some sort of duty of care to phone the police or something. Who knows? Legal disclaimers. I don't know. That's true.
No,
that's purely just comedic. So
just talking shit. That's what we're going to call the show if we get like
suck a dick, I guess. Yeah.
Welcome to the breakdown cast.
Yeah. You know,
Which is the best sort of
I
cover?
don't know what I'm doing with my life.
I actually did. I did that in the toy box video. I was just like, right. So these are the gravity feeds I've got. The first part, the second part, I go right. Breakdown. What am I doing with my life? Relevant breakdown. Here's what I've got. Just as a fun aside, if you if you find yourself so inclined, you can go and watch it on YouTube. Who wouldn't?
Fun. Do it.
So we call the AA. And I mean, at this point, we're shit-faced, so we're definitely going to need the help. So they say it's going to be like 2.5 hours. All right, okay. It's like, okay. At that point, you might as well just go back into the barbecue, hang out with family.
Burn
and
yourself.
stuff.
Oh, wait, no. It's not that bad. Just burn, done. I'm not cooking with you yet.
So understandably, my mum's a bit surprised that we're back. It's like, okay, but she's not like disappointed.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, you're
We just
back.
put up the balloons with fuck Rob.
Just like, as the doors open, she's just like, oh, we can have some proper fun because they're not. Oh, fucking.
Yeah. Oh, you're back. Dear, can you put on some more of those burgers? We'll fuck him up this time.
Here comes Torlio.
Get that son of a bitch. Wait.
Here he comes looking down on everyone.
Well, I didn't think this through. Except my mum. So while we're waiting, we're chatting away and seeing family and stuff, and all having a lovely time and all that. Do you ever get one of those moments on the subject of family stuff where it's all a little bit awkward and you feel a bit bad, even though somebody says to you, you've got no reason to feel bad? I'll give you what happened, and I'll see if it kind of maybe it sort of ties into something similar. So basically, it was my stepdad's birthday last week. So we took a card, obviously, to this Father's Day. It was Father's Day when we recorded when we had the barbecue.
We recorded his day of birthing.
We recorded
Hey,
his
Dad,
father.
record this for me.
Welcome to the stepdad train. Yeah,
That makes your mum out. That makes your mum sound like a massive whore. Welcome to the stepdad train. Everybody get on board.
Crazy, not my real father.
I've got tons of uncles.
Tons of.
I'm not finished with you yet. Oh, Daddy Braun. Dum, dum, dum.
Please don't say Daddy Braun porn. No, that's too far. Too far.
Daddy Braun Strowman. There you go. There's our episode.
He's everybody's daddy.
Episode 51. Daddy Braun Strowman. So I bought him a birthday card that said "Stepdad, happy birthday" and all the spiel.
Yeah.
Right, and it's all like the usual sort of nothing particularly elaborate, but
Yeah, it's not like I love you and flowers and you're the bestest daddy ever. Not that, like that.
Yeah, because also if I did that, he'd call me a bit of a pun. So it's got that. We've got that kind of rapport, you know.
I like it.
But he turned around and said, "Oh, that's lovely. That's the first time since you and your since I married. I got married to your mum that I've had cards from both you and your sister that both say stepdad."
Oh, okay.
And I was like, "That's really not. Oh, bollocks."
Yeah.
Because I've never consciously done it. It's just one of those things. I've just always bought generic birthday cards.
Just
because
happy birthday, here's a funny picture
happy
or
birthday,
something
funny
like that.
picture.
Yeah.
Like because those, the kind of ones I usually buy for him are those sort of almost a bit crude ones.
Yeah.
And they don't tend to be addressed to any one person. They tend to
It's
just
just
be
because then it's
generic
for everybody,
happy
right? It's
birthday.
a picture of a squirrel burying its nuts. It's for everyone.
Exactly,
right?
yeah. So I've always bought him those. So it's just happened to be that I saw one that, oh, stepdad, he'll like that. I didn't realise quite how much, but then I felt fucking awful afterwards.
Yeah, maybe that's
Because I've never like I say, he said to me he's never sort of seen it as a big deal.
Yeah.
But the fact it's crossed his mind makes me a bit sad.
makes me think, that's not something I would instantly think.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get a card from to my friend and be like, oh, that's the first friend card. I'd just be like, oh,
Yeah.
card. So yeah, that's
First
something
friend card I've ever had,
The
ever.
first friend I've ever had.
Yeah. Oh, they just bought me cards because I was a
This really is the
bastard.
fucking breakdown cast, isn't it? Oh God, you've just
Depressed track.
3 wheels of sad. I don't know why I've changed the tune, but deal with it.
Well,
Episode 51, new
It's
start.
the
everyone.
episode 51 soft reboot.
Yeah.
Which, seeing as the last soft reboot was like, what, 5
46.
episodes ago? Yeah.
I don't think there's ever been a true reboot of the show. It's always just carried on, but there's just little things. I changed little things
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, I'm
Am
now
I still
played
a
by
centaur?
Brad.
Who knows?
You now play by Brad, so
Yeah.
right, well, he couldn't be with us tonight, unfortunately. He did.
He's not dead.
No.
You made that sound like...
we're missing a few that we could have. We're like Crouch, Spike, Mark, and Brad have all unfortunately got other things on. So
Clothes.
close. Hopefully, yeah. I do hope so.
I don't know, it's quite warm. They might be sitting around with their sweaty bollocks out.
Yeah. How are you doing? You okay?
I'm melting.
You right for fluid?
Yeah, I'm really warm.
All right, cool. So just speaking of things that are making a comeback.
I might just put ice on my forehead.
There's some in the freezer.
Nice. I'm just going to live in the freezer. Can I take the microphone in there?
If you want. So
Carry on with your
there's
barbecue
enough flex
story.
on it, so you probably could.
It's quite a long
We're actually
one.
on our own mics.
Rob's
tonight.
got such a long one, I could probably go in the freezer and still put it by my mouth.
Oh my.
We've heard that about him.
Yeah, it's been nice.
Repeatedly.
Braun!
So
At a right
Fucking
angle,
good job
you
you
think.
bought these pop guards, isn't
I know,
it?
right? That's what's nice. I've got the compressor on and I've got the pop guards. Because otherwise it would just be incoherent noise.
We spent 2 minutes just saying porch porn.
I do like to pop on some porch porn.
Oh, that really
power
gets
wank.
me. Pulling my pecker.
That's
porch
a penis. That's a
Pecker is slang for porch penis. Braun!
It's a popular penis replacement.
Welcome to the Paisy Pain.
So the AA come. Actually, it's not the AA. They send out. You know that sometimes
Yeah,
they
they've
send out
got,
the local
when it's
garages.
busy, they send out other ones. Usually the RAC.
Yeah,
We don't have as many members in one of them.
yeah, exactly. Just you know, just don't rub it in, all right? So the guy turns up and the first thing he puts it on a weird kilt straight away because the first question he asks is, "Do you have a spare key?" We're like, "Yeah, we do, but it's not here. It's back at the flat." Because I didn't take my keys with me because why
Yeah,
bother?
why would you?
Yeah, because there's only one set between us and we're both there, so
Yeah.
why bother? And he was like, "Oh, because this set of key rings might affect the lock."
Bullshit. I know what he means.
Seriously, like
I know what he means, but
means.
that's a get out clause because what it means is it pulls down on the
on the tumbler.
tumbler,
Yeah.
and then all the all the social justice warriors
Yeah.
cry about your car key rings.
It's appropriation or something. Suck a dick, I guess. If you want,
Braun!
consent.
Well, don't suck a dick. Do consent. What's the opposite of rape?
Consensual sex.
No,
worries
because
me you have to
no,
ask.
rape is having sex with somebody who doesn't want to have sex.
Not
What
having
if
sex
you
with somebody who does?
want to have sex and
It just
don't?
makes you a bit of a bastard.
Just two people sitting there going, "I'm fucking horny. Should we?" No.
No.
Surprise sex.
Do you know what that is? Marriage.
You wanna- Walking with a penis.
I didn't realise we turned into a fucking morning zoo crazy train.
Yeah. I like to pork with my penis while I pick up a penguin.
All right, David Mitchell. so instantly we're on a funny kind of, we're on a funny kill
Yeah,
with this
you're in a
guy
weird-
because
weird
he's
situation
asked
with
a
him
weird
already.
question, and we're tired and hot and pissed off. So
Pissed off.
with our penis porch porn,
Watching the Peep Show.
putting the peep show, and so he's asking loads of questions, and he sits in the car and tries to start it. It's like, okay, fair enough. He's doing the same thing
Yeah,
we did. So that's
definitely
fair.
bollocks.
That definitely, certainly fucked.
Is this the car you couldn't start, sir?
Yep, you're screwed.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you, yes. And it was great.
Have you tried yelling at it?
I've never seen. It's the first time I've seen Jen pissed off. Like
Pissed off.
pissed off, not just like passive aggressive, but pissed
Passive
off.
aggressive.
Because she can be a bit, she's okay with the fact she's a little bit passive aggressive when she's pissed off, but she was proper pissed off.
A lot of peas going on.
A lot of peas going on. Now, lucky we got these pop shields.
Yeah, I don't want to pee all over your microphone.
No, it's good. I appreciate it. Sorry, pan pending.
Pan pending.
Appreciate
Although it did happen on here, so technically, whatever.
Yeah. Patent pending.
Patent pending. Porn pending.
Yeah.
porn pending. No, that was just dial-up internet.
I don't think I can patent porn.
No, I don't think you can, though. Here, hey, let me hear me out.
I've had a porn pattern, though.
Yeah. Hear me out, right? You have a porn patent. What's it for? Dare I
Porch.
ask?
It's porch porn.
Porch porn.
It's mostly just moths flying into a light bulb.
Well, I decided to...
Oh, I really want to imagine every time a moth flies into a light bulb, it's just going, every time. Oh, it hurts.
Just
Ow,
like,
ow, ow.
just like to patent Braun Strowman before someone else does.
Porn Poman.
And before WWE sue the shit
Sue the
out of
shit
them.
out of
there
it
is
just for
that.
mentioning it. They'll come in here and put you through a wall.
They'll put us through
finished with you yet.
they'll put us through a partition plaster wall. So he sits in the car and he looks over at the dash and he says, "Oh, you shouldn't have it that low. How low is the petrol?" And said, "Oh, the lights literally just come on today." And it had. Like, I wasn't just like fobbing him off because why bother, right? He's trying to help me.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, you shouldn't have it that low because you get the sediment and the muck and stuff," which is
That's
not
true.
untrue.
Yeah.
Jen turns around to me and mumbles, don't fucking talk down to me, just fucking fix it. Fuck me. It's like, and I just sort of gently touched her
Pushing
shoulder
her into the boot. Oh,
just pushed her away and said, let me handle this, because I want him to help us, rather than just go, oh, fuck you. Because I don't know what the rules are, you know.
They can refuse service to anybody, and then you won't get anybody out for the rest of the day.
And we're here for another 2 hours.
Yeah, if post office part-timers can do it, you got to believe that, you know, pissed off garage operators,
PAYE people.
PAYE people with, you know,
proper tools,
problems, proper problems,
alcohol dependencies.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah. Hashtag pod and family.
Sorry, headphone users.
He does that, and like we're a little bit like, oh god, just get on with it. I know that's not the fucking problems, and just get on with it, right? So he's going through the motions. He eventually figured out what's the problem. It's a sensor thing. He explained it, but to be honest, I wasn't fucking listening. So I was hot and tired and pissed off, and Jen was in my ear, and you know, all these things combined to just be like, fuck off, I'm not interested. It's like if I turned round and started to explain to you how databases work because I fixed your computer. It's like, it might be relevant, but you don't really
I might need it in the future,
it.
but right, just fix it, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Like, right now, you just need to know that it works.
Look, I need this computer to work because I am just hours behind on watching porch porn. And you know, the porch porn scene moves so quickly, you can't afford to be out for a few hours.
No, there's that, yeah.
You'll be behind. I'll tune in one day and they'll be like, did you see the pink one? And I'll be like, no, and they'll just laugh at me.
Yeah.
And then I'll just lose all my porch porn credibility.
Oh, he's never seen the pink one.
I love that they become rich people. There's, oh goodness, he hasn't seen the pink porch porn.
Right now, we've now established that porch porn is for rich people.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly.
I've got so much money.
Well, it is a classier form of porn.
It is. I don't have a porch.
Fucking porch porn percent. So in the end, he says, right, so it's not going anywhere tonight. So okay, we sort of expected that, to be honest, at that point. So he said, are you able to come and pick it up tomorrow? Because at the moment, recovery is looking like being 4 hours plus. Because it's been like, he was saying it was like a crazy day. Everybody's out. Everybody's out.
And the heat's messing people's cars up.
People's cars up. Heat's probably also making people fly into heat rage and crash cars.
Yeah, or just not fall asleep behind the wheel, but get dozy behind the wheel and go into stuff.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, Father's Day, so all the women are driving.
You have a drink, I'll drive us into a ditch, dear.
At that point, Jen murdered me.
And to be honest, that would be fair enough if she did at that point. I kid, obviously. You know, long-time fans know that we are only fucking around when we say horrible, reprehensible shit. You know, most of the time.
Yeah.
So, the following day, Jen had the day off so she could go back to the car. It starts first time.
No.
Of course it fucking does.
Of course it does.
So that, as if it wasn't annoying enough that we then had to get a cab home from my mum's and all that stuff, like, it was also then she went back to it and started first time fine. Because obviously it had cooled down and fuck knows what. I don't know how cars work.
That's magnets.
Yeah, exactly. It's just magic, I think.
I know that I can kind of repair my car if it's not too beyond fucked. Like, I've fitted alternators, I've done oil changes, stuff like that. You know, the more than basics. But I'm mechanically minded anyway. So,
right. That makes sense.
Yeah, I work with nuts and bolts and spanners and tools all day long. So it's just that these are powered by a fuel and it goes automatically instead of you pedalling it.
I don't know. I work with a few tools.
Pedaling.
I'm in an office.
Well, I work with all the tools. So.
You specialise in tools.
Blake is Wix champion. Didn't even know that was a thing, did you? There it is. It's Blake.
I
just imagined, you know, for some reason, I just like my head went to a shot of Blake, like doing, you know, like an 80s, 90s movies. TV series stop where they jump and pause in the air, but in the background it's "You're the best around, nothing's ever and just like Blake jumping in front of a Wix, and I don't know why my brain did that.
We'll do it.
There's
only down the road.
That can be the bit we were talking about, doing little
tune in next week,
like 5-second shots
vignettes
over the entrance music.
Little vignettes.
So that can be you jumping in front of a Wix.
You're just gonna we'll go down and record it, and you can just stick it at the end of the episode on YouTube.
Or just put little crazy shorts and whatever. Yeah. You can wear crazy shorts if you want.
It's a bit too warm.
Yeah, I can imagine you're warm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm regretting wearing trousers.
Yeah, I'm kind of restricted to trousers because me and shorts don't really go together.
They explode. It's warm as it's been. I wouldn't care if I had like fucking chicken's legs poking out the bottom.
That's kind of what I'm working with.
You should never feed them after midnight, and you should never put them in shorts.
No, there is that. It's not fun. So I put as is customary. I put the call out to the internet to supply us with cool stuff, fun stuff to talk about.
And I did loads of porn. Now here's my magazine of a porch with tits.
Porn boy.
I've got
In
this,
Biro,
this woman
in
here.
Biro.
This woman here, she's Hispanic, and she specialises in porch porn. She's a Portugal.
You're a dad now. That's okay.
What can I say except you're welcome?
You're a dad
Into
now,
my
you're
porch.
Yeah. Now I'm a dad. I legally have to tell at least one dad joke a day.
I think that's true. I think
it is.
that sounds like the kind of thing that is.
My girl's not even 16 months, not even 18 months old yet, and so she doesn't understand them. But she's learnt how to sigh.
I like to think that's why.
Yeah, just me.
So we had a few questions from various sources. So if you want to join in on the fun, you can email us at podcast@emotionally14.com. You can also send us questions on the Facebook page, Emotionally14, and tweet us at Emotionally14. Like the Master Debaters podcast did. So I've talked about these guys before. Jolly good friends of mine, and I've actually jumped on their show before as a guest, which is quite fun.
I think actually the last time I tried to come here to record the Crazy
time
Train,
we were doing the session, I'd just finished.
You locked me and
segment.
Brad outside while you were finishing another podcast.
Yes,
You
yes.
whore.
To be fair, when you were in the flat, you didn't have to stay in the corridor.
No,
you just chose.
No, we just chose to. You were recording.
You could have just sat in the.
I'm actually thinking about it now. We really should have just come on. We should have just sat behind you making weird noises.
That would have been. To be honest, that would have been alright. I think.
Yeah. Anyway.
So I put the question out there, and I basically said, "Ask us anything," because it is the Crazy Train.
Yep.
Nobody knows where the Crazy Train goes. That's what happens. So the Master Debaters podcast. This is Toffer from the Master Debaters podcast, but he runs the account. So
hello, account man.
Hello, Toffer. Who is your favourite actor, and why is it Mel Gibson?
That's a good one.
Reeks is crazy. That's my answer.
I don't think I have a favourite.
Okay.
I have
It's Mel
some
Gibson,
top ones. Yeah, just Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Right, next.
Blake, why is it Mel Gibson?
I don't know. I wouldn't say. I mean, he's not a bad actor by any stretch of it. But
Careful your next words, because bear in mind the correct answer has been laid out for you months ago.
Yeah, I know.
Now, somebody did this the other day.
This is how the red shirt dies. I'm just going to get
Somebody was
beaten
slagging
to death by
off.
Australians.
Somebody was slagging off Tom Cruise.
Right.
And
I saw that.
And people were like, "Oh no, he's really good." And I was like, "He's not that great." And then I was like, we were making puns about how short or shit he was using movies he'd been in.
Yeah.
And when I'm looking at him, I'm actually going,
He's got
I've
some really
loved
good movies.
tons of these movies.
He's really
Mel
good.
Gibson's probably another one like that you go, "Oh yeah, and that one was okay, but that one was really good."
Yeah. The problem is ultimately those two in particular are. They get sort of decried for the stuff they do outside of the movies.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
obviously, Mel Gibson famously
Being a big old
anti-Semite. Allegedly, I don't know.
I don't know.
Was it ever a thing? I don't even know.
Well, you got caught
it
doing
was,
it, and it was
wasn't
on.
it?
It was on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There was a
Traffic
sound
Cam or
clip of
something,
him
wasn't it? Yeah.
screaming something at someone. Yeah.
Calling somebody sugar tits as well.
See Tom Cruise.
And so Tom Cruise obviously
He's
keeps.
mental. He's got a
See,
tooth
for
in the
me,
middle of his
it
face.
just seems like he needs better friends.
Absolutely.
Like, he just needs to keep
you're right
better
there.
company. That's all it is for me.
Favourite
I think I'd like him a lot more that way.
actor. Wait, Pete Postlethwaite.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen him do anything I haven't absolutely loved.
Right.
To the point, even the other day, I put Netflix on and just shoved something on for the little one while we were eating dinner.
Yeah.
And it was the James and the Giant Peach, the Roald Dahl book, the adaptation.
Oh, yeah, another
and
one,
I've
yeah.
forgotten he narrates that.
Of course,
And I was
yeah.
like, oh, even his voice works on this. Obviously, he was
That's a lovely film, though.
Roland Tempo in the second Jurassic Park. But first movie I think I ever saw him in was Dragonheart. I loved him as I can't remember his name. He was a priest, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's like a
And
monkey dog.
Yeah, he was a monk, and he followed Bowen around, like making these stories of him being a dragon hunter. When it actually turned out what was it? Have you ever actually seen him kill a dragon? He's like, well, I didn't see the death blow on one, and I fell asleep, but he's alive, and so I guess he won. And I love that. I do love Dragonheart, and he's great in that.
I too find it hard to think of an exact favourite actor.
Yeah.
Well, let's say,
But
why is it Mel
I was-
Gibson first of all?
You know,
and then you can do
Mad Max.
Because and his Scottish accent is flawless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
also that's a great film as well.
That is a good one.
Favourite actor?
But I mean,
just name.
I'm just thinking of an actor I really like because he's one of these ones that. He's one of these guys I was going like, I didn't really think of much until recently, and I was like, actually, he's in a lot of films I really like, and that's Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Like a dependable, workhorse actor.
But I mean, like, you know, Big Trouble, The Thing, obviously even recently with Guardians of the Galaxy. And I think he's just he's like, you know, I mean, I didn't really like the Tarantino movie Death Proof.
Okay.
But I definitely didn't think Kurt Russell was the bad part of that film.
No, I don't think I've seen Death Proof. I've seen Planet Terror, I know for sure. I don't think I've seen Death Proof.
I think out of those two movies, Planet Terror is certainly the better of the two.
Okay, fair enough.
But, you know, I'm sure someone will no doubt prove me wrong. And his name is Joe.
Wait, no.
Not how opinions work.
But that's just my opinion, as I say. Yeah.
Let me think. So for me, of an actor I really like... He's an actor of sorts.
They are unfortunately classed as they're
sports
they're
actors,
playing a role
so
these days. I listen to a lot of the Jim Cornette podcasts, so it makes me sick.
Yeah, I can imagine if you like
good old Corny. Yeah,
if you like Corny, then you won't like the old.
I'm not quite as bad as I don't mock the glory days. You know, I don't mourn the glory days of wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, you know, everybody knows it's a crock shit. I do. I hate when you're expected to think that a wrestler is playing a character. So, you know, Braun is not Braun. You know, I hate that. Like, you should be closer to your real person, unless you gimmick you're like a fucking space cowboy or something.
Yeah.
Sorry, did he talk about, like, kayfabe then?
Yeah, he does that. WWE stars now are defined by the WWE as actors playing the roles that they're representing on screen. At screen, and I don't like that at all.
No, I think part of the reason, I don't necessarily think it's entirely down to WWE. I think it's partly down to social media as well, because so many of the wrestlers don't do kayfabe
no other wrestling
offline.
company represent. And I'm not being like, I hate the WWE. I'm a massive WWE fan.
Yeah,
but no other ones ever. You know, the Young Bucks aren't pushed as being different people on screen and off screen.
Yeah.
When Cody Rhodes now is an independent worker, he's not Cody. What's the real name?
Reynolds.
No, Rhodes. Reynolds. That's it. Yeah, he's not. You know, Cody Reynolds, and he's not Cody. He is who he is.
Yeah.
But in WWE, he plays an actor who just happens to be the same as him and look the same as him and have the same traits as him, which is understandable when somebody plays. I'm trying to think of like an outlandish character in WWE at the minute, like the Ascension.
Yeah,
play like the Mad Max style,
Road Warriors,
post-apocalyptic Road Warriors. Yeah. Like, you know that they're not born in a wasteland, you know, etc., etc. Like they are people playing those roles. Undertaker, you know he's not actually a corpse. Yeah, but at the same time, he was never portrayed as Mark Calloway as the Undertaker. Yeah. He is the Undertaker, and everything you see for the few minutes he's on screen is real.
But then he's gone again. But that's because he actually stuck to his kayfabe for most of his career. If not,
once or twice has he ever broken it.
I've seen him turn up once at a UFC event in the crowd.
Yeah, but even then he was like
the Undertaker.
He was still the Undertaker. He still had the jacket, the hat.
Exactly. He was still being him. I think in the modern era with social media, because all of them have got Instagrams, all of them have got Twitters, and all of them have got Facebooks and stuff, they're all clearly like faces are hanging out with heels outside of the ring and stuff. So I think they have to. You know, WWE are kind of almost forced to acknowledge that. On
the other hand, if you know who's never broken kayfabe, Iron Sheik, because he's fucking insane.
Because he's mental.
Oh my god, he tweeted.
He knows where his money's come from.
He did. You know, they do like Twitter do sort of day hashtags like Monday motivation. I think it was like, get the fuck up, you lazy son of a bitch.
I love him. I love him now that he's back. Like, so he's the way he used to put it. This is actually his quote. He's no good Jew manager.
Right.
He called him that when he was on terms with him. Yeah. But it turned out the guy had actually been ripping him off for years.
Oh, okay.
Taking all the money from his bookings and stuff like that. That's why the guy was like, his wife left him and all that, and he was on a poverty line, right? Mm-hmm. But two
he doesn't know how to work.
Two Iranian girls now are his managers.
Yeah.
And you know, due to their culture, like of respecting their elders, they look after him. They just call him uncle, and they look after him like he's their uncle, and they do all of his stuff now. I don't think they write his Twitter for him.
No. I would be very surprised if two Iranian girls went, "Wake up, you lazy son of a bitch."
But they look after him now, and like he's got a house. He's learning to read. and stuff like that. So, like, they're looking after him and he's on the mend again, and I'm so glad that, because he's absolutely pioneering in what he did. Like, he did the whole racist wrestler thing without being outwardly racist. He did the, America Patooey and all that, but it wasn't, like, as blatant and desperate as some of the other ones do. Like, they've turned it back now with Jinder Mahal at the moment.
Yeah.
He's Hindu and he's playing on Muslim fear, like the fear of Muslims.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're Hindu, dude. Like, but you're still basically going, I foreign bad. Me speak other language now. They've dialed it back.
Crazy passport.
It became more about him versus Randy Orton rather than him versus
America.
Randy Orton as America. Which is good.
Yeah. But it's just really funny.
Because that's dead. That should not be a thing anymore.
I want the heel heat to just be, I don't eat beef.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We all know it's bad for our digestive system and it kills the environment.
Whereas AJ Styles comes out and goes, I don't eat beef. You deserve it.
And then Braun comes out and goes, Braun! And I just cheer.
Yeah. I mark out like a bitch for that.
So, your favourite actor?
I don't know, it's tough. There's some really good ones. Like,
why is it Mel Gibson?
Well, like I say, Riggs is crazy.
Okay.
And also, like, actually, even something like What Women Want, he's quite good in that.
Yeah.
Even though it's not really my sort of film. I watched it because it was on.
Yeah, no, I've seen that.
And he's quite entertaining.
It's an entertaining enough movie with an entertaining enough actor in it.
Back when he was like the hot shit, so he was in everything,
absolutely,
right? Yeah. Obviously, before he fell from grace a bit in terms of being cast in things.
Yeah. And hating on them, they're Jews.
Yes.
You can't ever really get past that,
It's cool when we do it, Mel.
Yeah, we're allowed.
Legal disclaimers, we don't
when I
do
wear a hat, I look like a Hasidic Jew anyway.
Yeah,
so.
well, that's what it is. It's actually you're just self-loathing. Let me think. So, I mean, like, there's a few I could name that I quite like Patrick Stewart. He's quite good.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's hard to name a specific favourite.
Yeah, at the moment, my favourite actor is a guy called Titus Welliver. So he's a star of on Amazon. He's a star of Bosch.
Oh, okay.
The detective series. He's in.
I've had it recommended to me. I know I watched it.
He's basically in everything Ben Affleck directs as well.
Oh, okay.
He turns up. He's just like a sort of tough-looking.
Is it a Tim Burton and Johnny Depp situation?
Not quite. No,
but it will get there in 10 years' time.
Turned up. I think he has. Ben Affleck has directed films that Titus Welliver hasn't been in, but he tends to, where he can, he tries to sort of find a part for him. The other one is a guy called Lance Reddick, who's also from the same. From the same show. So that's Titus Welliver.
Okay, I recognise the face. He showed me a picture.
Okay.
For those of you who are listening to this, he looks like
Titus
a kitchen.
Welliver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In case you wouldn't know, he'd shown us a picture of said actor.
Yeah, so if you want to know what he looks like, Google Titus Welliver.
Imagine a kitchen playing ping pong on a porch.
So the other guy is Lance Reddick, so he turns up in all sorts of stuff at the moment.
Yes, I've seen him in tons of stuff too. Yeah.
Funnily enough,
oh yeah, I know.
He's in Horizon,
looks
in
like
Quantum Break, and I've played all those recently, and he keeps turning up. I'm just like, yes, awesome.
Yes, he's like the he's not the Emperor, he's the Emperor's aide, isn't he?
In
Horizon.
Quantum Break?
No, in Horizon.
I don't know. I haven't got there yet. But he's the one who just turns up on the. He's in my game. He's just turned up in her ear.
Oh, it's him. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. No, he's not.
I'll give you a clue, Blake. The motion captured character looks exactly fucking like him.
Yeah, I was trying to remember. Yeah, you're bearing in mind it's a few months since I played it.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. I forget that you play things when they come out like some sort of, and leave me to play like some sort of fucking
like
savage.
A person with free time. I don't have free time. It's spent playing computer games.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm too busy enjoying myself.
I don't have free time. My time costs a fortune.
Yeah.
In computer games. So yeah, those are two that are kind of current favourites. But then like all time, I really loved Robin Williams.
Yeah.
It broke my heart when he died.
I see the thing with him when in the years preceding his death. He was a bit of a joke. Let's face it. Like Family Guy mocked him as a hack.
Yeah.
A lot of places mocked him as a bit of a joke.
Yeah,
like, I know he's obviously a comedian,
but at the same time.
But then when he died, everybody kind of went, "Oh, hang on,
he's so good."
Wait a minute." Like,
yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I would never say like. I know you love him to bits. I would never say I was a massive fan of Ron Williams. I mean, he was in films I liked.
Oh my god!
But I couldn't stand his stand-up personally.
Oh really? Okay.
No,
I never enjoyed that.
Never got on with it personally. Each to their own. I know people like it. But that's fine.
But I'll watch Hook on a loop.
Oh, it's such a good movie.
He has been this very, but
movie.
I think it took him. When I think of the films that I really loved him in, I think of his more serious roles. So I think
like
of
One Hour Photo, Insomnia,
Dead Poets Society, that sort of thing. And I'm like going, wow, he actually is.
He's a really good actor.
A good actor.
He's an Academy Award winner for a reason.
Bicentennial Man?
Bicentennial Man?
That was him as well.
Yeah, it was him.
The one where he was a robot, basically, wasn't he?
right.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, I love that film. Yeah. Really love that
if
film.
you just want to do a little cry.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, no, that was great.
It choked me right up in that one.
He did have some decent acting chops. He could go across the board.
And he was, as a voice actor, he was great as well.
Yes,
like in Aladdin and stuff. Like,
well, we're only now finding out a lot of details about how much of that movie was ad-libbed and stuff like that.
Yeah, because he's just...
Which, can you imagine Disney these days allowing, like, my little girl's massively into Moana, one of the newer Disney movies, and I'm watching loads of, like, behind the scenes of, like, The Rock recording his roles, and Tamora Morrison recording his and stuff like that. And they're so like, no, could you say that with a slight upward inflection on the end of the third word? And they'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can you imagine just being like, ad-lib it, Robbie, do what you want?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
you did imagine what it must be to be an animator working on a Robin Williams thing.
Oh, God.
I think they obviously recorded him first, obviously.
Oh,
that
I
would have been terrible.
Yeah. Basically, I think they just ad-libbed him and then just wrote the script around it.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, DeGenie is probably one of the best character in that film because he carries it.
To be from a world I know, you'd probably do it like a wrestling promo. You're wrestling this guy on Saturday. Here's the reason you're fighting. Do the rest.
Yeah,
you got 30 seconds.
And now
he'd probably be like, "You're a genie. You've just come out of the lamp. You're happy about it because you've been trapped in there for 1,000 years."
Yeah,
and he comes out and goes,
10,000 years,
blah blah blah. Like he keeps it into the tempo that they need.
Yeah. He's also the shit in Mrs. Doubtfire as well. That movie's wonderful.
I underrate that movie myself.
I'm always like, it's fine. Of all time.
I'm always like, it's fine. Then I watch it and go, oh, yeah, this is great.
I just have such a fond memory of it from my childhood and stuff as well. Like, I didn't love him as much as my sister did because like she was destroyed when all that came out. At the same time, actually the masturbators who sent this question in, they did a thing. Like they did this, they got really good. They played really fun games on their show, and one of them they played was like Family Fortunes. So they asked listeners for answers, and then they would sort of do survey shares and all that. Okay. And one of them was, which celebrity would you like to bring back from the dead? And I sent them a message saying, here's who I would bring, and if anybody says Robin Williams, they're a fucking arsehole because he was miserable.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, that's the other side of it, isn't it? Yeah, you got to think. If you could bring them back and make them happy. That was the whole thing with Carrie Fisher at the minute as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
She seemed to have hit a stride.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then be taken out of it.
And obviously, she's fucking wonderful anyway. But
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
She happily admits if there was something you could have wrong with you, she had it.
Yeah,
right?
Pretty
and
much.
She was... But actually, it was Charlotte said today we were talking about because the toxicology reports come out that she had certain drugs and bits and bobs. And as I actually commented, a woman who was famous for her recreational drug use died with recreational drugs in her system.
Colour me shocked.
But I don't condemn drug use. I don't use drugs myself. I don't smoke. I barely ever drink. Yeah. Right, but that's my own choice. I don't condemn people who want to use drugs. What I condemn is the actions around it. So if you're you're addicted to even just like weed or something like that, and you're stealing and you're acting in violent ways to get hold of it,
I get you.
That I condemn.
Yeah.
I doubt very much at any point in Carrie Fisher's life was she stealing or robbing to get the money for the drugs she wanted to use.
That's very true.
Hey, I know obviously you can't be that selfish, and you've got to think of your family.
Yeah.
You've got to think of those who love you. But at the end of the day, if a woman who can afford to do drugs wants to do drugs, crack on, love.
Yeah.
Good on you. Enjoy yourself. It's very sad that she's gone. Obviously it's not as black and white as that.
No, obviously it's like there's legal stuff to think about.
Absolutely. There's
But
legality.
I totally see where you're coming from about it's more about what you do once you're in whatever state you're in.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
That defines.
If we all decided when we finish this to just like do whatever, cocaine, weed, heroin.
Yeah,
if we're all in a safe
space,
we're
not planning on doing cocaine.
No, we're not. Yeah. If we want to,
I'll put it away then. I'll put it away.
If we're all safe,
if the evening goes that way.
If we're all safe, if nobody's getting hurt, if we're not hurting others, cool. Do what you like.
Yeah,
like I think that's ultimately why. Yeah. Ultimately, why weed is getting like legalised all over the
Blake
states.
Didn't just do a line; he just lifted into the mic.
Guard. That's incredible.
Christ
that's
almighty,
so rock and roll to do a line of coke off a pop guard. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, fucking amateurs.
And I thought rock and roll was when I once went to see Nightwish live,
right?
And her microphone matched her dress, and when I saw other pictures in Metal Hammer of other gigs, she was wearing different dresses and they always matched. I thought that was rock and roll, but cocaine off a pop guard. Yeah, that's like I said. That's why I think weed and that's getting legalised across the states, because people are learning like, you want to fuck yourself up.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just going to make it so you can't hurt anybody else.
Plus, there's also like the things they can make tax revenue off.
Absolutely,
it,
and obviously like opiates and heroin and coke are going to be a bit different. But at the end of the day, it still boils down to what do you want to do to your body.
Yes.
It's illegal to buy it. It's illegal.
And
to
actually,
do it,
the legalisation of certain things means that the distribution, the dodgy distribution, goes down, and people are actually in less danger with the stuff they're buying.
When you get, but then you talk about bringing somebody back to life. Would you bring back Carrie Fisher with all of her drug problems, because that made her who she was?
Yeah. And what do you want to do?
I kind of would, I guess.
And Robin Williams acted through his depression, and that probably made him as good as he was.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
And we all know that
made him who he was.
It's a tough one.
And we all know that the correct answer is what would you want to do with your body is definitely porch porn.
Yeah, definitely do porch porn. I sometimes like to just put. So I get a porch in Portugal about the size of half a ping pong kitchen.
Yep.
And I just put like lines and lines of coke on the floor and just toot my little face off.
A ping pong kitchen, is that the one you buy from MFI Sports?
That's the one, yeah.
You used to do an angel in the middle of it, don't you?
We used to, when I was wrestling, we used to call
oh right, yeah.
just
get those two mixed up.
For the shits and giggles, a few of us when we were out on the road, like trying to keep ourselves awake when we were wrestling, driving all hours.
Yeah.
We used to call Pro Plus tablets toot, which is obviously slang for cocaine.
Right.
It's because it was all just fun to like be driving along or be in like services and be like, oh, somebody go and get some toot. Do they sell toot here?
Yeah.
And it would like you'd be in a place that understands that slang. They'd be like,
what?
Do they sell cocaine in WH Smith's on the M25? It was just a running joke between us, and it became.
Got to check the right hour, love.
I've called it that completely innocently sometimes.
Just gotta know what to ask.
Give us some too.
Yeah. So, follow-up question. So, second other question. How many old people could you take in a fight?
Oh,
I mean, your answer could be pretty high.
No, because I've had my ass kicked by a 75-year-old man before.
Yeah,
it was wrestling. Like he'd been wrestling all of his life.
So
but it used to be like he used to get like the younger wrestlers who were showing promise and be like, come have a roll around, and then he would just fucking embarrass you. He'd pretzel you up.
To be clear,
was his name Jimmy Snooker?
No, that's
was it Savile?
Jimmy Snooker Snabble. That's one of the worst.
Oh, wow, you got promise, eh? Roll around on the wrestling ring now then. Oh no, you're probably the wrong sex for him.
I'll touch your kids and then kill your wife. Allegedly.
We mix up loads of people here.
Yeah, he would be like, come over all that, and he actually genuinely used to just embarrass you by just sticking his thumb up your ass as well, because what we do like
it doesn't sound like a wrestling thing. It sounds like
so he'd roll around on the floor with you and he'd put you in certain holds and he'd be teaching you as he did it, but he'd be like, this is how I got you, right? And then he would always do this one where he'd splay you out on your front, flatten you by using like his elbows in the back of your knees and stuff like that, and then he'd be explaining it so that he'd be like, what you do, son, you take your elbow like this and you put it in here, right? You put it in the back of the neck like this, you pin them down, they can't move.
Put it in the back of the neck.
This is actually a really good impression.
Take a bump.
Put pressure in the back of the neck like that, and then what you do is you take your thumb, jam it up their ass, and you always go, whoa! So then, once you'd had it done to you, it was like a rite of passage.
Right.
He would then, even later that day, get somebody that hadn't been watching, right? And it'd be like, come here, I'm going to show you a company. And he'd be like, Omer, I'm going to show you a move. I was like, I'm going to use this guy as a dummy. Come show you a move. And he'd be like, okay. And you'd have to play along. You'd be like, oh, okay, thanks very much. John, let's see. And he'd get the guy down. He'd be like, what you do? You put your elbow in the neck like this, so you spray him out, right? Then you take your thumb, jam it up your arm, and you'd have to be like, that's really interesting, John. I didn't see that coming. And then it would be, by the end of like, after 2 or 3 weeks of new recruits coming in, you'd just get them week up, you'd have like a crowd of 20 people around you watching an old man stick his thumb up your ass. And somehow it was brilliant.
Yeah, and somehow people were paying for this.
Yeah, genuinely, we're paying £10 a week for this bullshit.
Now.
Yeah.
No, I think it was
love him now.
It wasn't like
a bit of like a light hazing thing.
Yeah, it was hazing. It was because in wrestling as well, we have to trust each other.
Yeah.
So
and there's certainly no better way to trust somebody.
You do have to. I remember somebody turning to me once. They went to a training session and to a wrestling training session, didn't like it when they learnt to slam because she was a girl, and the male tutor had to put his hand between her legs to slam her. Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, that's how.
If you don't put your hand there, I'm probably going to drop you on your skull and you'll go to hospital and you may never walk again.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's how I do it.
Now, if he starts rubbing, that's different.
Yeah, that's a bit different. So when he used to do stuff like that, it was part of the hazing. Like, are you going to trust me? you know, I've
As long
done
as
this
it's
silly
outside the
thing to you.
trousers, that's probably
yeah,
also good.
absolutely.
Always give consent.
And you can never. It's like a lot of things, you know, as people say, you had to be there.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff to me is the antithesis of that. Even more so than when somebody tells a joke and nobody else gets it.
Right.
It's you're in that mindset and you're ready for it. You know, and you know what you're doing and everything's okay.
Yeah.
No,
There are things
okay.
I could say to you that I wouldn't dream of even saying to Blake.
Yeah.
Because it might offend him because we've never covered that ground as a joke before.
You know it's okay when a 75-year-old man is fingering you.
That's when you know it's okay, kids.
Legal disclaimers. It's not okay.
So
I'm not turning this
some
into the
answer
fucking
to
pedo cast.
how many pensioners?
How many old people?
How many old people?
I'm
If it was
assuming
him,
it's the average old person rather than
so
like
that
a trained person.
okay.
Sorry,
Because otherwise it's like a 75-year-old Vietnam vet who just kicks the fuck out of
Yeah,
you.
you
I just loved the idea
Punches your
that we've
face
actually turned this into the paedophile cast through attrition.
You finally wore me down.
so
Fine, it's a paedophile cast.
Oh, God.
somewhere between none and some.
I would say 3.
Am I armed?
No,
and-
so it's just bare fists.
Oh, it's bare fists.
Not bare fists, it's bare fists.
Braun.
Not
Oh
broad
my God!
fists.
How many old Braun Strawmans?
Braun
Strawman.
Strawman. Braun Strawman would be a
Braun
hell of a thing.
Strawman. The Strawman argument. Yeah, well, you didn't do it. He did. Braun.
All 7-foot men are rapists. Hold on, I forget the best use of a straw man.
I'm not finished with this, hey.
I'm finished with this, hey? It's like, oh, he's Canadian now?
Yeah. Fuck
Hey,
it. That's
buddy.
it. Anyway, okay, so how
How
many
many
old
would you
people?
take, Blake? I cannot wait for this answer.
Can we do the Batman versus like the Batman versus Iron Man thing, where it's like, am I prepared for it? Is it in the middle of a field, or did I know they were coming? You know?
It's just imagine.
Yeah, did they
it's
jump me?
Spontaneous.
If you get jumped by a load of old
Imagine
people.
it's just a spontaneous fight that's broken out outside a pub or something. Nobody's going to intervene.
Right, it's just
except
me.
The number of people you
It's just
decided
no.
you could
Let's
take.
not imagine me, because me, you know, as a person that has had martial arts, it's funnier to imagine Blake fighting old
Well, this
people.
is why I can't wait for this.
Yeah, come on,
So,
go, Blake. How many old people
When
could
he
you
says
take?
8, I'll be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Clifty. No. No, I'd like to hope I can. If
At least one.
When we say at least one.
We're also we're not gonna intergender this, so it'll be you against an old man. You won't be
okay.
beating the crap out of an
I
old
don't
woman.
get to beat up old
obviously
man.
there is the answer
Again.
of how many old people can I take, and then there's also how bad will I feel after getting beaten.
Well, it's also like, can I just knock one out, or do I have to break limbs so they can't come back
you just
at me?
have to incapacitate them so they won't
Right.
get back up. It doesn't
Oh, I
have to
just-
be. You have
right.
to kill them.
Right, what I would
In a
do.
fight,
Here's my
it's not to the
tactic.
death.
Well, I'll use my
So,
double power action.
So let's assume there's like a large, uncountable crowd.
Right.
And apparently that's around 40 for a human.
Okay.
Like, to see a group of people and not be able to count them, it's 40 odd.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously,
So
people
how
in the
many-
army can do that.
How
They
many
can
of
look and go,
40
"There's
old
70."
people can I take
So let's
before I
say
go
there's-
down?
Yeah, basically.
Say, no, go over. So there's 50 old people. What I would do, right, is approach them slowly and then run in a circle so they form up like penguins. Then I'd back up and just run through the middle and see it like Skittles. See how many I
up to
can take
50,
over.
depending on how
I think
well
I can
they
take up
penguin.
to 50 if I can group them together.
Yeah.
Right.
And it depends how many Superman punches I can
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Blake,
up
could
to
you run
50.
faster than me at a group of penguins? What are we doing?
Yeah, I'm not even sure where this is going. I reckon I'd like to think I could take out a few. Like, I don't know. As I said, if they're coming at me en masse, well, it's just
Yeah.
it's a bit like when you see them. I'm going to take you down. It's like the zombie film. You know, the guy's sort of
Yeah.
just wailing out into them, and then he just slowly disappears, and the arm just raises up, and that's all
Come
you
back
see.
up, you've had a blue rinse.
Yeah, but then an hour later, you just see him come out of thing like, "How do you survive?" And he's just holding a Werber's original.
Yeah.
I blended
I just
in.
thought I needed feeding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You come
Not
out
me.
just like with this food around your mouth.
Loads of really badly
Let's
pinched
help
cheeks.
Blake work this down.
They
So-
would get
Or I
Blake
just
because he
come out,
does.
I take them all out. I've got slightly torn shirt, and I just go,
No.
"Bingo, motherfucker!"
I've worked out the scenario because they think he's a giant baby. They're just trying to pinch his cheeks.
Yeah, yeah, and I have really, really red
Really
cheeks.
like
by the end of
bleeding
it,
cheeks
yeah.
from all the pinching.
So let's help him work this number to a sensible range. Could you take 50? No?
No.
Could you take 1?
Yeah.
Could you take 40?
I don't know. I can't count that many.
Yeah. But we already agreed this is an uncountable number of people.
All right, so could you take 40?
I reckon I could take.
Bearing in mind that any more than about 8's going to surround you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
only
was
need
gonna say-
one that doesn't go down
Well,
as
I'm
soon as you
saying,
touch
Well, there's that
you're
too,
making it sound like I'm already being, like, from this conversation that I'm being attacked by a horde.
Yeah, okay.
No, what I'm trying to do
So
is work
from
it
that
out to a sensible number.
horde,
What's the collective term for a group of old people?
a horde.
A home.
A babble.
Babble.
I would say I'd definitely, well, you know, being that I'm not very good trained, look like a big baby, and probably punch like a big baby as well, I'd probably take about 3 or 4, I reckon.
3 or 4?
Are you imagining it like Dead Rising, like I am?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you can pull out their
Well,
teeth
I
and hit
actually
them
am
with it?
wearing, like, you know, I'm shooting him with a Nerf gun.
Almost,
Yeah.
it's called Almost Dead Rising.
Almost.
I say, I think we overthought this question somewhat because I don't think we had to kill them.
Do I have the mechanical armour from the 4th game?
Oh God,
Am I driving a spiky car?
53,106.
Do I have how many combo weapons am I?
Can you disable my morality and guilt chip?
Sure.
So that as I'm just striking
That's the
them in
thing.
balls-
That's the thing. I thought after I've wailed on the first one, I'm like,
Oh, that felt bad. He squelched.
yeah. And also it grows at me to, like, you know, I punch him and I'm like, oh, let's go. It's only 2 for them.
Yeah, he's only. Oh, jumper.
Yeah, got. Or, you know, like, you just see dentures fly into your hair or something. You're like, oh.
Yeah, like in the movies where you see blood splatter, but with them it's just like fucking, yeah, goo, just goo. You heard it here first, people. When you punch old people, they goo.
Gooify, just.
Yeah, I think that's the lines you got to work out.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm saying about 3 or 4.
Yeah, fair
But
enough.
then again, as I said, it will be slowly me descending into the mass of.
With my last breath, I curse the master debaters for suggesting this.
Yeah.
We're not going to
I'm
go
surrounded by a bunch of, you know, wheelchairs and canes and what's that?
I got this cane.
Zimmer frames.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What if
Yeah.
they've got Zimmer frames? Because it would matter whether or not they've got tennis balls stuck to the bottom of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair. Because then also, I think you could.
Or
probably,
Doug.
I don't think it would make a difference. Actually, I think your answer would pretty much be the same because you would pick up. You could probably wrench
Well, if I
it off
could
them.
wrench the Zimmer frame from
And
him, I
actually,
could
then
do.
you'd probably take one down straight away just by
Yeah.
wrenching it off him.
Well, wrench him off it, he'll go down. I can do like a spinning attack.
Sweet.
That's 8 there.
Yeah. Just press Y.
Yeah.
And you get
That's a heavy attack.
If you get a heavy attack, you get maximum
And then
PP.
if it's Dynasty Warriors, I'll just press circle and I'll do my special Musa attack and take out about 200 of them.
No, Dynasty was a really old show, so it's just Dynasty.
Dynasty.
What about you, Rob? How many could you take?
Probably. I don't imagine it's much different to Blake's actually. The advantage I
How many
have
of you have
is
got the bowling tactic?
the
That's
high
what you need.
advantage I have.
Well, we're not tactically trained like you.
Tactically
I have the
trained.
advantage that most old people have shrunk a bit, and I'm quite tall.
Yeah,
so
but
I
you'd
could
have to
probably
punch
just
down,
knee
which
them-
means you can't
I
uppercut.
can knee them straight in the face though.
That's true.
Yeah. You can just walk through and just.
Yeah, you could just goose step through
I'm
the
gonna
middle of a
say
load of
eight.
old
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
I'm just going to keep doing this, and if it hurts, it's your own fault.
I'm gonna do. I was gonna say 8.
You could do like hardcore dancing. Just swinging your limbs around.
Am I
with
the only one
reckless
who's added
abandon.
too many factors to this kind
I
of
think, like I say, I think you've overthought this. C also.
Could we do it? Well, how about if we were a team though? Because we could stand back to
yeah,
back and
together.
approach
As a
around it.
team.
Cumulatively.
Like the Turtles. We need a 4th person so we can all be Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, no, this is just co-op Dead Rising now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we
like
can
this
do that.
club, yeah.
To be fair, I don't believe. Let me double check.
Well, yeah, we're in
It
the
doesn't
thousands.
say individually.
Oh, okay.
It just says how many old people can take up. We can
Well,
ask.
as a group, I think we could just take it in turns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think,
just-
when we get a bit
just say
tired
end,
from
just
wailing on one, we
wail
can
on
just.
Be like, tag in, will do. Bro, bum, bum, bum. How many old people could?
you yet?
Well, cumulatively, I think we're in the hundreds then. In that
Yeah,
I think so. Actually, if one of us turns up dressed as the Grim Reaper, then we can put it into the thousands.
You hear that, old people? We could take you.
All of you.
Yeah.
Bring it.
We're not finished with you yet.
Bro.
That was the
How many old
crazy
people
frame.
could Braun Strowman fight?
106,000.
Just all the old
I think you
people.
could just wipe out all of Eastbourne.
He'd punch them into young.
He just all of Eastbourne. He could just
Puns me
he could
so
just-
hard.
he could
I'm now in my 20s.
He could go to Eastbourne and just flip it.
Flip the whole
the
of
landmass.
Eastbourne.
just into the, all the
So it
old
picks
people
up a
into the
tectonic
sea.
plate and-
Yeah, just into the sea. I'm not finished with you yet.
I'm not finished with you, Betty.
What was that theory? I said I'm not finished with you yet.
Just for an hour. Oh, haven't you got big? I am 6'8".
What?
Bum bum bum. This music these days isn't. It's just bum bum bum. You need to eat more. You're looking skinny.
What do you reckon? One more?
Yeah, what, person or old person?
Question.
Oh, question. Can I fight one more old person?
Old people?
I'm not sure whether to go for one from... Because we put this out to the Facebook... To the group of the sort of...
The people who come on this show.
The people who come on this show. The contributor... The podcast guest pool. So I put it out to the podcast pool. And we got some great ones. So maybe I'm just going to do one from that and save one of the...
Crackers,
there was another one from one of the masturbators. And I'll save that for another time. Right, so...
You don't give them their podcast and ours.
Let's go... It seems the fairest way seems to be chronologically. So we'll just go with the most recent, the earliest one, and work our way down. So the first question came from Brad.
Cool.
And the question was, what's your favourite genre outside of the geek triumvirate of fantasy, sci-fi and horror?
Is that a thing?
Yeah, there's more.
There's no geek action movies?
Well, you can
Just fuck this question up. Next.
You're breaking the fourth wall.
There's no geek sports movies?
I guess.
Can't break the fourth wall.
Dodgeball's a pretty
Dodgeball, that's geeky.
sports movie.
Yeah.
Good movie.
We've just broken that. We can't answer it.
We can't. Anyway, Rob, we can't break the fourth wall. Strowman's fucked a girl for it.
And the fifth and the sixth.
Daddy Paul and Strowman.
So is Commando, would that not be counted as a geeky movie?
I don't know. That's a good point.
That's the thing. If you think about it,
It's more like a geek
is people getting involved
quadrilogy.
like early into it. So if you could say, "Oh, I'm really into Arnie movies," that means you could argue that things like Commando.
Basically, the only one that would be allowed is Terminator, Predator, anything with a sci-fi bent or a horror bent.
What about Iron Man? Sci-fi, I guess.
Sci-fi-ish, yeah. I'm
trying to think through the.
I mean, if you go
comic book
if you go really
heroes
loose
are
on it,
gonna be-
fantasy would be all fiction because it's stuff that isn't real. So, in which case it would be non-fiction. Next, documentaries,
War dramas.
What about the Mario Brothers movie?
I think that's kind of geeky by being fantasy.
Is it
Sci-fi.
fantasy?
It's kind of a bit
It's a bit
It's a little
sci-fi
bit
in
like
places.
dystopian-y as well, isn't it?
Yeah. But also, I'd say being Mario, it's probably in the geek area anyway.
It is. But it's
about,
also
like-
balls. So
What about like Mad Max? Stuff like that.
Mad Max is this is the thing. There's
Is that
actually
Action movie. I'd
Is
say that's
that
an action
sci-fi
movie.
fantasy because it's post-apocalyptic, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
So, Brad, your question's fucked, mate. Absolutely.
We don't
Fuck
know.
Like a Girl Through a Wall by Braun Strowman.
If I had to pick, so let's change the
That's
question.
the
up a
thing.
little
I
bit.
think a lot of my favourite films are probably in that area. But if I was going to
Okay,
say
then
one, I would go like
Outside the
crime.
geek sphere, then.
What is your
Definitely.
favourite genre outside of those three he's named? Action.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Jurassic
crime.
Park isn't. Oh, Jurassic Park's got like a
I think
horror
it's
leaning.
more like styles because you can have a fancy
Do
action.
you know what?
film,
I actually
can't you?
wouldn't consider. I consider horror geeky,
Kind of.
but I wouldn't consider it part of some group that action
The
movies
Holy
aren't
Trinity. It's
a
not
part
like a
of.
Holy
then
Trinity.
again-
No.
but
I
then
would
again,
actually,
you
if I was
can-
going to pick
action.
three, I'd
But
swap out horror
as
for
I said,
action.
while I agree that Jurassic Park is a action movie, you could also argue it's a fantasy horror as well.
Absolutely, yeah,
So-
totally, yeah, and
still holds
sci-fi
up.
because of the
And sci-fi
the
because of
technology
the
is.
genes.
I've always said
They're
the difference
basically all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
I've
the
always
things.
said the difference between Star Wars and Star Trek. Star Wars focuses, and I'm not a Trekkie, so I don't know in depth.
Right.
Star Wars focuses on the characters and the technology as a backdrop, whereas
Yeah.
Star Trek is often about what they're up to, which is the technology. Therefore, that's sci-fi. That's not strictly true, I know.
No, but it's like
but
it's
that's
They will
where I
use-
would.
they will
That's why
use-
I would put.
They will
if I-
use technology to solve a situation, and science. They rely on science more, or
Yes.
sorry, sci-fi
on science fiction. Yeah.
to normally resolve an issue rather
Whereas
than
Star Wars is about
Star
the
Wars
people
will
within
be
it.
I'm going to kill you with my gun instead.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. The gun. What the gun is doing isn't a. I don't think there's ever been a moment in Star Wars. They talk about it in The Force Awakens. They talk about the compressor or whatever in the Millennium
On
Falcon.
the Falcon, yeah.
But I don't think there's ever like
really in depth.
anything beyond the hyperdrive is broken.
Yeah.
What's the hyperdrive?
But to
They
be
don't
honest-
even ask what's the
to be
hyperdrive.
honest,
You
when
just
they
know
talk
it's the
about-
thing that makes
when
it
they-
go fast.
yeah.
To be honest, when they talk about the compressor, it's something tied to the hyperdrive, isn't it?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
yeah. There's never a moment where they're like, we
Super
need
detailed.
a valve for the compressor because the ship won't fly without the
Yeah.
crystal for the.
Of course. It was so obvious.
Yeah.
Like a balloon when something bad
It's a
happens.
Futurama quote. I'm not just
I
throwing
might-
a random Jamaican into the Enterprise crew.
Like putting too much air into a balloon.
I would say I'm going to interpret it as because you can have sci-fi action films, you can have sci-fi, you can have horror, like action horror films and stuff. I'm going to say noir.
Okay.
I really like that kind of, especially things like detective stuff. It's most often I really like just straight detective. No, I don't mean like you can't have a gay one. I mean, although I'd watch that too. I'd watch Gay Detective. Sure.
I would probably say, well, because I don't
be fabulous.
I don't consider them to be geeky, and also some of them are set in a period of history, so you can't say it's necessarily fantastical, even though there might be amended versions of events.
Yeah.
But I like a lot of kung fu movies, for example.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'd count them as geeky as well. Yeah. Because to me,
I don't think it's like these are the only three things that are geeky. I think it's more.
No,
like
he's just saying the usual things.
The ones that are probably pushing the cinema.
Yeah, because I think that's what Brad's saying is what things are considered to be geeky are typically fantasy, sci-fi, and
they're all they may all blend into that a little bit. Yeah, because
I mean, if you're going to argue, most films aren't normally a set genre. They're normally
at least one or two.
They're not. You know,
but it's
even superhero movies are fantasy action if you're going to be
absolutely
or Event Horizon sci-fi horror.
Exactly. So that's what I mean.
It's where's the line? Like my favourite style of genre of book is historical fiction. But I don't really like historical fiction when there's like magic and fantasy in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes if it's like you can see that somebody's, they've gone to see a seer or a wizard or something, but you can see actually when the character starts to doubt what they're seeing, but they're still like, well, I better believe in the gods because I should, and then you're kind of as the reader, you're invited to kind of go, it was a bit of a magic trick, like that coin wasn't really turning over or whatever, But then when it comes to movies, like straight historical fiction can be boring.
Yeah. I know what you mean. It can be very dry, can't it?
Troy was really good because it threw all the fantasy elements of it in it. But then, like King Arthur, a lot of people slated because.
I'm actually the opposite. I wasn't a big fan of Troy. I went to that cinema and I thought it was over long for what it was.
It is a little long.
It's a tough one to watch at the cinema.
Yeah, it's a great one to sit at home and I've got the extended cut and I love it.
It's not. I didn't think it was awful. I just thought, considering other epics I'd seen, I just didn't think it was paced
It wanted
really
to be like the old days, didn't it?
Oh yeah, and I can see
when you can make a 4-hour movie and you just lump it.
You sit there with your one
on the
kernel
other hand,
of popcorn fucking on a porch.
I actually really enjoyed King Arthur. So
I love that movie. I
liked it because it was different.
Yeah,
I remember watching the trailers and I went, I ain't seen this shit. It looks awful. And then Kat showed it to me, and it was like.
Are we talking about the Clive Owen King Arthur?
The one we talk about.
Not the one that's just come out.
No.
Because that looks like a massive sack of horse shit.
It's his turds. Yeah.
Do you know? It's my main problem with all that genre. I call it the jacket theory.
Right.
There was no such thing in sort of medieval or dark age. They didn't wear jackets as we know them, like Finn's jacket in The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
That style of a cut of jacket did not exist.
Yeah.
They put those in movies to make them relatable.
Yeah.
They did it in A Knight's Tale perfectly,
right?
Because that movie had "We Will Rock You" being played.
Oh yeah, they intentionally put the rock music into it,
and that movie did it. It was like, look at this jacket that looks ridiculous on this medieval man.
Yeah,
right. One of the worst culprits was the Merlin TV show, not the Sam Neill one, the ongoing TV show.
Oh, the one that was.
Which I swear
was
just. I'm not a fan of it, and I'm not a fan of the show I'm about to mention. But I swear it was just Doctor Who lifted and put in medieval times.
I believe it.
They had nothing to do with the Arthur and Merlin myth. They just slotted in at the end. And that guy constantly wore a patchwork leather jacket because it makes him relatable to a modern audience who look at that and go, well, if he was wearing like a gambus on with leg armor.
I'm going to knock the Sam Neill film.
No, I love that one. I love that one.
Yeah,
it's when they try to add modern fashion, and that if you look at even the posters for the new King Arthur movie, he's in like a white, almost silk jacket. It's meant to be Under Armour. It's got like this padded gambeson look to it, but it's a button-up jacket which just flat out didn't exist. But that movie looks like I don't even.
Going back to the older, was it late 90s, early 90s?
It was mid-noughties, I'd say.
Oh, really?
Well, no, I think it was 2002 off the top of my head.
It was Keira, wasn't it?
Okay.
It was Keira Knightley.
Post-Pirates.
Yeah. Yes, so you might be even like 2005.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw the trailer for it, it seemed to me, it was like, I don't know, maybe it was just either the trailer wasn't particularly good or grabbed me. It was just like, oh, it's not how you've seen it, and I was just like, oh,
yeah.
That made me go, oh, well, this is just going to be. I took that to be. They're just going to do what they want with it, and it's going to be shit.
Well, we know
but that's because a lot of film studios do that.
Yeah. Well, the whole Arthurian age is a lot earlier than the Shining Knights in Armour. It's post, so it was just as the Romans were leaving Britain. That's Arturian.
I did quite like that when they did that. They actually went, well, theoretically there would have been Picts and
they made a really believable myth.
And there are bits where it's like, well, no, that wouldn't happen, but in the film, but they made it good enough that you would like, I can follow this plot, and I could see, this is where the myth would have come from if they told it that way, and it was a lot. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Let's put it that way. I went in with low expectations and was pleasantly surprised.
You're right in my kind of sort of era of expertise in this. Like, I love... So, the leading research points to Arthur being a build-up of many, many historical stories that were true, all attributed to one man. We actually know, I can't point you to all the research, but Robin Hood is the same way. Same way. Robin Hood was many stories of many different men attributed to one man who became mythical. Beowulf supposedly is the same, and they think Arthur was not one man, he was not one king of the country.
I know there was a lot of theoretical where is his castle, and I think they worked out roughly where his castle was.
There's proof of where certain historical figures were born, down in Cornwall and that way, which is where he's mostly from, Cornwall and all that lot. My absolute favourite version of the Arthur myth is Bernard Cornwell's Warlord series. There's 3 books, quite long, but just brilliant. The audiobooks on Audible, I'll recommend just picking them up because they're just... you can't explain it. The Jonathan Keeble reads them, and he's not really good at women's voices, which is not a...
That's not uncommon in audio narrators.
But when you, after sort of 20 minutes of reading...
I'm a woman.
Yeah. After a while, you just kind of go,
okay,
that's a woman's voice there.
That's how she sounds.
Yeah. And you just... He did a couple of ones of some Roman books, and so Romans obviously would have had a slight Latin accent, but he does one of the characters' mums in a proper like Peggy Mitchell, because she runs a pub in London.
Get out of my vomitorium.
Exactly how she does it. Exactly how he does it.
Nice.
Because he does. The gruff soldier that's her son. He kind of does a little bit like Ray Winston.
Worst combination I've ever heard.
Well, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm no good at it, but the mother is proper like, hello! I'm the Romans!
I'm a lady!
I'm a real lady, I am. I'm not a man pretending to be a lady.
He's not Terry Jones, then.
Yeah.
Oh, get it away, might bite him.
So, favourite genre outside of some imaginary...
I was trying to think, what was the question again? And then I was like, oh yeah.
My favourite genre of movie is porch porn.
Porn. That feels like a good place to end it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hope you've enjoyed today's porch porn.
I've enjoyed the porch porn Strowman.
Porn Strowman.
Daddy porn Strowman.
Daddy porn.
Yeah. We are actually finished with you now.
Yeah.
So we are indeed finished with you.
We've done raping your ears.
No, we gained consent. They downloaded it.
Oh, awesome.
I think that'll hold up in court.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they downloaded episode 50 and it automatically downloaded. You know, is that consent? You know,
I think as long as you carry on listening, that's
like that other goddamn podcast I showed you that wouldn't go away on my phone. I downloaded an episode of a podcast. It was episode say 40 for a number's sake, and then
about you too?
Monthly, weekly new episodes came out. I listened to it. Deleted it to get it off my phone.
Yeah, what about you too? They raped our ears about
that. Oh god, that's musical rape.
That's terms and service.
That's true. Yeah,
that's what those big 35-page documents nobody reads.
Yeah.
Terms of rape.
It's in there. It actually says Bono can give you music.
One episode of a particular podcast just kept re-downloading to my phone. In the end, all I could do was I unsubscribed from the podcast. Just kept popping back up.
Yeah,
and it was like 8-9 episodes later. It eventually just gave up.
Showing me, it's just like,
because every time I just send you a message like, God, what's going on?
Like a hostile takeover of your.
So if this episode keeps turning up on your phone, I'm really sorry. I know how irritating that is.
Yeah. It's because we're not finished with you yet.
On that note, thank you for listening to The Crazy Train from Emotionally 14. If you've enjoyed the show, you can, as I mentioned before, you can like, share, review and rate on iTunes, Stitcher, leave us comments on YouTube, various different methods and means.
If you're on YouTube, I think you actually have to legally call us Nazis. That's how YouTube commenting works.
Anything basically, I think generally anything right of Stalin is considered Hitler.
Anything right of Stalin. That's a great name for a band.
So you can do all the reviewing and sharing and commenting stuff on YouTube, Facebook, Emotionally 14 on Facebook, Emotionally 14 on Twitter. We're on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher. I think that's the only places you can get the show.
Validate us.
So you can get us on emotionally14.com. That's digits, not letters. Jesus Christ.
He's been holding that in all podcast, and he still didn't hold it in.
I'm not finished with me yet.
I think he's broken
So, guys,
the chair.
where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter at fucksake.blake.
I love that.
And I've recently joined Instagram, although I haven't actually put any photos yet. As
I saw that.
As Harmer the Appreciator.
Nice. Omer?
I am me on Facebook, if you want to come talk to me on there. I am on Twitter, but I don't use it, so if you want my account, you can have it.
That's the Iron Turk Omer.
Yeah, just shout some abuse at me on there, I'll never read it.
Sure.
Literally, just shout swear word.
Can confirm he doesn't read his Twitter.
In about a year, I want to check my Twitter and I just want to see I'm not finished with you yet over and over and over again. If somebody, you know those ones that are like the same picture of Trevor McDonald every day. Yeah. If somebody could set up an account that just tweets the words I'm not finished with you yet...
On the
daily,
day, every day.
Yeah, so that in a year's time I look at 365 pictures of Braun Strowman screaming, I'm not finished with you yet. That would be magical. Yeah, come talk to me on Facebook. I'm me on Facebook, or Can't Sleep Must Paint, my page for my models and paints. And I also just joined probably about a month now on Instagram, again, showing off pretty much a lot of the same models. If you like long descriptions of how I did stuff, go to the Facebook one. If you just want to see a picture of stuff and me going, this is a fire engine, go to Instagram.
Which is
loads of it's really weird because they look like berserkers.
I know, it's weird, right?
It's weird because they usually start off as X-Wings.
Yeah.
That's a
no, you should see the way I play. That's how they end up on fire.
Green stuff. So you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at RobWadeVision. So you can find the Emotionally 14 Twitter at Emotionally 14. There's no Instagram, but you can find Facebook, YouTube, Stitcher, iTunes, the works. Thank you very much for listening.
We're in the works. The bookshop.
Sure.
We have to be somewhere.
I feel I've told that joke before.
Maybe. Who knows? So thank you very much for listening to The Crazy Train. Bye for now.
We're finished with you now.
Peace.